Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 96 of Purple Hyacinth Cordial competition. And we're here with Meg.
Hi.
And we can begin hyperventilating at this point because you just have to have moments to let our heart rate go down or go up.
Fully prepare for this entire episode to just be us freaking out over every single moment all the way up till the end, because that's probably a great prediction.
It was, when I read this last night, my heart was pounding and it was just incredible. And then every time I thought about it throughout the day, my heart started pounding again, no joke.
I got home really late from work last night when the episode updated and I was flat out dead. And I read the episode because it was 9 o'clock, so why not? And it miraculously woke me up and I was very energized.
Yep. I read it at 1 a.m, so yeah, probably not the best time to read it. I actually considered, I was like, I should probably really go to sleep now, because I know once I read it, A, I'm gonna have a harder time falling asleep, B, I'm gonna want to be on the Discord all night, which I'm very proud of myself. I did not. I was only on the Discord for 10 minutes and then I went to sleep. Yeah. But anywho, okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we open up with somebody scribbling a note, slamming his hand on the table, pulling up the note, and really rushing. We have a clack, and it turns out it's March, and March is speaking to this blonde officer, whose name is Officer Halt. He says, "Officer Halt, did you also receive the message from Loom?" "Yes, but most of it was distorted. We couldn't get much out of it. Only something about a factory." And March says, "All right, can you please watch the radio room while I'm gone? I'll be back." And then he yells into his radio, "This is Detective March. I just received Loon's message from the radio room. I think we got an address." So, Meg, do you have any theories? Because
I actually do.
Already.
Don't hate me, because I know you're probably going to come from an angsty direction.
Sure.
Are you? Okay, because I actually am for once.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Officer Halt, I feel like that's the first time we've seen him. If it is,
I've never seen him.
Me cute.
Yeah, I would remember him because I like blondes, and I remember blonde people, and I do not remember him.
Yeah, and at this point, I think Will's the only blonde, if I'm right. Is he? Is he the only blonde?
No, well, there was the guy at the warehouse last episode who looked blonde, but turns out he's really ginger. He was blonde in one panel.
Yeah. But we don't have any main characters, people with names, who have blonde hair, so he's very noticeable and rememberable, I think.
And his hair is white blonde. Will is a little bit more sandy golden blonde. Yeah.
So I know in the last chapter situation with March and the radio or whatever, they were getting somebody to fix it up, and I don't know if they legitimately got the signal working better. Because part of me went to maybe the reason why March knew the address so quickly is because he already knew where they were.
Emily, is it even the right address? That's my question. But no, we know it's the right address, actually.
Yeah, we know it's the right address, but I'm if that's the case, then what's the logic in March sending them, straight there? I don't know. So I'm still of the conviction that March is good, because I love him and I don't want him to be bad.
I think we're used to seeing suspicion in everything. If I wasn't PH trained, I would be March is just getting a radio message and he's just writing stuff down. But because this is, Purple Hyacinth, I'm suspicious of everybody. But I don't know. I'm not really suspicious of March. I think it's more likely that he's just a good guy. But it's always good to be on the cautious side and prepare yourself for all, horror and heartbreak.
And I feel like the fandom has also kind of conditioned us to think that way, because to be honest, if we think back, who is the only betrayer? At this point, it's Harvey, right? That's the only person who's actually, and of course we have the prediction hanging over our head that somebody's going to betray Lauren. So then we're looking at everybody. But with the track record, it's only been one, and we're almost to episode 100, and it's been one.
Good.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so us turning and thinking, oh, he's going to betray, somebody's going to betray. I think we're pointing fingers at too many people for the track record that it's already been established so far.
Well, if we're going to I was going to say, if we're going to talk about parallels to communism, I mean, that's like the witch hunt with communism, obviously, was very prevalent there. Anywho, so, okay. So March, probably 80%, 90% normal. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still praying that, I mean, I don't want anybody to be, honestly, I would rather nobody ever betray anybody. I just want everybody to love each other and hold hands. That's too much to have.
Yeah, maybe for this story a little too much. So now we head into back into the factory scene, and we see the transmitters, I guess, or transceivers on the floor, broken wires, and a mic on the floor. And you know, we hear a message. I repeat, message was not received, which is what Kym is saying. And meanwhile, Kieran has got the sandwich guard like pinned. It's hilarious. He's on top of him. He's like cross-legged on him. What's that called? It's like a praying mantis position, kind of.
I think of it as like the little brother position, you know, when the little sibling claws on your back and like latches on or your kid or something. That's what I think of. But I laughed. And Lauren was kind of like she's like, what are you doing? Did you not watch him? But the whole time Kieran was the one giving the message. So like, shouldn't Lauren have been watching the guy?
I think it's a little bit, this is gonna sound so sexist of me, but I think sometimes women have a tendency to rely on the guy to do things. You know, like, oh, the guy should take out the bugs, the guy should take out the trash. Like there's certain roles are associated with men. And I think that Lauren does kind of rely on Kieran to do that because he's a guy, either that or because he has showed himself to be more physically aggressive than her. And like, she kind of expects like, oh yeah, any violent thing, you're going to do it because you're the assassin. So maybe she's just expecting him to be on top
I don't
of
know
that.
if that fits Lauren's character from what we know. And then there's also like the side that she was just so entranced by his sexy voice that she like
that must be
pay
it.
attention to the room. But I don't know if that's, you know, because I mean, I don't think that's the narrative that any of the writers would be going for. I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't think that's, you know, what was happening in the scene. But I'm just like, Lauren, come on, hold up your half. Come on, girl.
Yep.
Can't blame Kieran for everything.
Yep. So the phone is still crackling, goes, please crackle. So fine. So they're not getting any information. And Kieran has his mouth over the guy's hand and mouth and nose. Sorry, he has his hand over the mouth and nose. And eventually the guy is like blacks out due to lack of air. And then Lauren's like, crap, you didn't see him wake up? He pulled, and I think Kieran says he pulled the wires from the ground, and she's trying to like fix it, but it's not really working. She just sighs. And then she says, let's go back to the office and find a phone to contact the APD directly. It's only a matter of time before the guard wakes up or someone discovers we've been here. Yeah. So meanwhile, Kieran is tying up the guard with the wires.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't remember if it was this panel or the panel before, like, but throughout this whole chapter, there's just something to notice, like, as we're reading through though, I am so paranoid of the guards getting good looks at Kieran and Lauren, because anytime there's a zoom out in their face, you can see their features, specifically their eye color, how their hair is coming out from their hats and their masks. I'm like, they're not really hiding their identities very well, especially if they're already on the radar for being lewd, if they're already, you know, suspected. So I that makes me very nervous throughout this whole chapter. The amount of zoom-ins on the faces as they attack the guards. It's disconcerting.
Totally. I mean, I guess the question is what's going to happen, right? Because if the police come here and apprehend everybody or whatever, then will they want to be witnesses? Will they want to be like, will they be able to get away with saying, hey, these, you know, we were just regular employees doing our business and they came and attacked us? Or will it be obvious at that point that anyone who's in the factory at that point is phantom safe? So I don't know.
Yeah, but at that point, I'm more concerned about not them reporting to the police, but more them reporting to the phantom site.
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like that would be so much worse.
Right, yeah, never mind. wrong fear.
Yeah, that's my anxiety anyway. So, because I'm good with anxiety, you know how good I am with anxiety.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm kind of still operating on the theory that somebody in Phantom Side is protecting Lauren, but that doesn't really explain the go after Loon and kill them part. So I don't think that can be both simultaneously.
Yeah, but I follow you. I still feel like there's something there, like, because Lauren's a little too immune, and I don't think it's plot armor. So I do agree with you. I do think there's something there, but them also going after Loon, are they that arrogant to think that she's definitely not? Or maybe, but we don't know who gives the orders. Is it actually the leader or is it the apostles? We don't know. So could it be that the person who's trying to protect Lauren doesn't even know about the, the witch hunt for Loon? So
So Kieran tells her, destroy the police scanner before we leave them. They've been using it quite enough, which I like, because he's kind of getting this feeling of alignment with the police. Like previously he probably didn't have any attachment to the police, but now he feels like, oh, I'm on their side. I don't want them to get that information, or like he's kind of like joined the team. I find that really nice.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, you and Fwoot were like, "Oh, he's gonna betray."
I
And now you're like, "Oh, look at him fighting on the side of the police. Isn't that nice?"
Okay. There was a lot of great stuff in this episode that made me feel all mushy inside. So like, whatever. But no, the truth is, even back then, I said that I think it's more likely he's not a betrayer. So
I would just like to say that I never wavered once,
yeah.
ever.
Faith in Kieran was steadfast.
I remained uncorrupted.
You have always been in his court.
Forever. I will remain there. Thank you very much.
Oh gosh. Oh. Okay, so she's like on it, and they're like, she clearly is destroying things. And now we're back with Will and Kym, who are adorable and are standing underneath. Yeah, I know, they're so cute. So they're still underneath Luna's restaurant, Oh my gosh, did the time change, by the way, on the clock? Because it says 10:10. I think it was 10:10 last time also, but whatever, it's okay. It has only been like maybe a minute anyway. So, and they're still standing there. They're kind of like both looking at their radios like, shh. And even their stance is like kind of like eye rolling, like really, like we can't hear anything. And then again, I stand by. I repeat, all officers stand by. And then Liddell and Lieutenant Hawks, please report. Right. And then I think it probably ends in precinct. At the end, all officers and Hawks report to the precinct. And they look at each other. And again, it's raining. There's blue lighting. It's just really, beautiful. And Will says, this is Lieutenant Hawks requesting transport. We are at 547 Jeanette Street. And of course, I'm like, Jeanette? Who's Jeanette? Is there anything? What's 547? What does it mean?
What has this fandom done to our brains?
We're awful. Hawks, please report to the police. Hear from the radio, Lieutenant. And clearly they're like not really communicating. Will says again, this is Lieutenant Hawks requesting transport. And then there's just shh again. So he just smacks his face and he's like, this weather. And Kym says, Will, there's something I always wanted to try in the rain.
The heart. There's the heart there.
Yeah, she grabs his arm. And she's like, are you ready to try with me, Lieutenant? And she winks, and that's where the heart is. Winks and snores. It's so cute. And he's like, huh? Because poor will never be able to anticipate this woman's moves. You would think that after enough time of being with her, he could predict what she would do, but nope. He's so like rigid. I don't think he can even allow himself. I don't think he has that level of imagination. It's so out of his realm that he can't even imagine her doing anything that he would.
Like even when she was like breaking down how she was trying to, how she's breaking down how she figured out who Loon was, he's still just kind of like, yes, right. But there could also be other, he's just kind of like, like not offering any opinions, not disagreeing with her, not agreeing with her. He's just like, So what are the facts?
Yeah, he's probably like a very in the box person. Like I don't think like creative writing would not be his thing. I had an engineer friend at the MBA program. So he was an engineer. He was like a nuclear submarine engineer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So obviously a very smart guy. But he told me that when he would take his the standardized testing, like GREs and whatever, half of it is verbal stuff, is like literary things, and half of it is math. And he said when he would get a passage and we'd have to read it and then answer questions about it, he said he basically had to guess because he wasn't able to read it and understand what he was reading. And whereas with math, like he's like, math I knew no problem. And I'm like, math I have to sit and break my head for, but like reading, comprehending, language is like super easy. So I recognize that people have different kinds of brains. So Will strikes me as much more that, like, he can't make connections creatively between different information. Like if you give him a formula, he'll follow it. If you give him like do A, then B, then C, he'll do it. But like, I don't think he's skilled at being creative.
Yeah, he would not make a great detective.
Yeah.
So, but even so, it doesn't change that this scene is pure magic.
It is. Yeah, it's pure magic because he like is so innocent, doesn't anticipate.
I know. It's just,
as soon as she said there's something I want to do in the rain, I'm like, oh, of course I was like, she's gonna sing in the rain, she's gonna dance in the rain. And Will's like, I don't know, what are you gonna do, Kym? So she grabs him.
I knew they weren't gonna kiss, but like the first thing that popped into my head was that iconic in the rain upside down Spider-Man kiss.
Oh, okay, I don't know that one.
But like that's the first thing that reminded me. I knew they weren't gonna kiss, but like that's the place my mind went to.
That would be nice. So she runs into the rain and she's laughing, ha ha ha, and he's screaming. Ah. So this poor guy's face is like, his mouth is wide open. It's just some rain, Will, like chillax. But he's wondering, he's like, my wool overcoat will shrink.
Oh my God.
And then Papa Stefano will be mad at me. He'll deduct it out of my pay.
Oh man.
So now they're in a red telephone booth, typical London telephone booth. He's sopping wet, like he's dripping. And can I just say, like, blonde hair dripping water is a little bit sexy. Sorry.
You're simping.
Sorry. Fwoot's not here. She can't berate us for simping.
Oh no, I was right there with you. I'm like, hey, Will, like, I married a blonde man myself, so.
Oh, it's crazy. Like I've been married to my husband for like 11 years, and I still look at him. I'm like, literally like once a day, twice a day. I'm like, did you know your hair is gorgeous? Wow, your hair is amazing. Can I touch your hair? And I like touch it. I'm like, I love it. It's blonde.
Oh, he lets you touch it?
Yeah.
Mine does not let me touch his. It's cruel.
Oh, that is cruel. It's like
it's kind of curly behind his ears too, and it's super cute.
Aw. By the way, I begged him.
Shaves it all off. Like okay. As soon as it gets long enough where I think it's cute, it's gone.
So when I was dating my husband, his hair was longish, like, like long, like you could like flop it. And then he one day without warning, he buzzed it, like he cut it really short. Yeah. When I saw him, I literally started tearing up. I was like, what have you done?
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because my husband will probably buzz his hair like a couple times. No, not a couple times, like 4 or 5 times a year. It's not great.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Will is very nice. He knows not to anymore. Like he'll cut it shorter, but he doesn't cut it short anymore.
See, I haven't earned that respect yet, so.
Well, the truth is I have super long hair also, and every so often I think of making it into a pixie cut, and he's like, no, don't do a pixie cut. I'm like, then you have to grow your hair too.
the eyebrows, Mindy. No, see, my husband was begging me to cut my hair just because it was like everywhere. So.
Oh yeah, that's funny. My hair is everywhere, but it's worth it.
My husband did not think so.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. It's easier anyway.
Okay. Well, it's still nice like this.
Anyway, seriously derailed, but.
Yeah. Okay, so back to sexy dripping Will. He called and Herman picks up the phone. Now, do you find it like a little odd that Herman is picking up the phone? Why is he at the station at this hour? Like, presumably he's high up.
Loon.
What?
Because the man's obsession. Because Loon, of course he's gonna be there.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't know that anything unusual was going to happen that night. He just thought it was a regular night. Like he has an administrative job. Like he doesn't have like the night shift, like it's not the kind of thing that he would be doing. And also, why is he picking up the phone? Like he's too high up in rank to pick up the phone.
Well, even I know it's typical, like it doesn't matter what your rank is, like until you get up like to like beyond captains and that kind of thing. Like everybody has a graveyard shift.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I know that's how it is with I know a couple people who work in it right now, and they're just I mean, you can definitely have a bit more preference, but especially if like there's, you know, extreme conditions or people are spread thin or whatever, the even the higher ups will work graveyards. So
okay, well, thank you for correcting my misperception. I actually do not being yeah, I don't really know people who work in the police force. So.
Or it could be what you said too. He's just maybe there for other reasons too. There's definitely the possibility.
Yeah. Or like you said, like maybe he probably is obsessed with his work. He does seem like the kind of guy who doesn't have a life, no wife, no kids, no pets, no hobbies. He's probably like, I must live and breathe and die for work.
I mean, look at Herman. Does that look like the face of a man who has other joy in his life?
Poor guy. He needs to start doing things. We need to teach him like golf or something. That's suitably boring. No? You want to teach him creative dance instead?
I mean, ballroom dancing can be learned by anyone, and it's an amazing, definitely an amazing outlet.
And there are so many people lining up to ballroom dance with Herman. Sorry. I'm okay. That was so mean. I'm sorry. I regret saying that.
I thought you were the one who liked Herman.
I'll dance with you, Herman. I'll do it. I can't touch you because I'm forbidden, but I'll dance with you.
That's funny.
Okay.
But I do agree. It is a little funny that he's the one that picked up the phone, not anybody else.
Yeah. Okay, so he's like, this is Lieutenant Hawks requesting transportation to the precinct from Champlain Street and Maple. Oh, okay. And I think they're kind of like, they sound Canadian to me, but, and Herman says, Lieutenant Hawks, I assume you were able to hear the message from Loon. Will says, I was able to hear part of it, but all the crucial details were missing. That seems to be the case with all the handheld radios. Our receiver in the precinct was able to pick up a stronger signal. It didn't differ much. We can only get a location out of it. The glass factory located on 73 Sherbrooke Street. Where is Sergeant Liddell? So did you Sherbrooke Street? I was trying to remember what they said last time. Like if it, I don't know, because I thought it was LE Street, right? Didn't it end with LE Street?
I'd have to go back and look. It might be a typo too.
Yeah, pretty sure it did because I remember we talked about it last time. I'm going back, but anyway, so Liddell is, you know, she has this like adorable smile. She's like, right here. I know. It was so cute. She had this smirk. It was so adorable.
No, cuddled up with Will in the telephone booth.
I know. I don't know if like they recognize that this is like a shippy moment, but we say it's a shippy moment.
Oh, it's totally a shippy moment. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
And I would just like to say that we don't know how long it took Randall to show up. So they were stuck in that cozy little phone box for an undisclosed amount of time. And Kym looked very happy both in the phone box and afterwards in the backseat of that car.
I like your line of thinking.
I feel like there's a small little fan fiction in there. I feel like there's a scene there.
Yep.
In fact, I might write it. I might just go ahead and write
it. Go ahead. So I am, oh yeah, okay. You know what? Yeah, I went back to the episode. It says located Oak Street, OKE Street. So yeah, Sherbrooke Street. That makes sense. Okay, so let's go back. So he tells them that he's sending somebody to pick them up. And I'm doing this memory now. And that they have to go to the factory and check it out and stay covert. Okay, yeah, perfect. I'm sending a car to get you and take you there. I want you to scout out the situation and report right back to us. Stay covert and don't let anybody know you're there. Understood? Yes, sir. I like how they're both dripping. And, you know, now we have a little bit later, we have the car coming up. And who is driving it? None other than Lukas Randall. And they squeeze. And there's a guy sitting in the car. And he has like this 5 o'clock shadow. And it's like typical, like a lot of criminals are portrayed in like, as a trope, it's like they have 5 o'clock shadow. It's just an interesting thing. And totally ignore him first. And Will's like, Herman wants us to go to the glass factory located on 73 Sherbrooke Street. And Lukas is like, more babysitting. If you two fight again, I will crash this car. Oh, hi, Fwoot. So, and he's like, and only I'll be able to jump out because it's locked in the back seat. Hi, Fwoot.
Hello. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I just realized I did not pick up my phone.
That's okay. So we are up to the great scene with Lukas Randall being crabby.
Nice.
Him and that adorable smile in the back seat.
Oh my gosh. So this poor guy, he's like, why am I included in this? I only tried to steal the lamp from a weird lady's hair. He's crying.
I wanted him to be successful, not gonna lie. I wanted him to get away with that crime.
Yeah. Oh my God. She just comes
Isn't that
in
like
everywhere.
attached to the wig?
I
That'd be
like,
better.
she probably crazy glued it because she's crazy. It's hilarious. And then Kym just slaps her mouth over him and she's like, just shh, just shh. And it's just awful. He's like so nervous. This poor guy. At the end of this whole ordeal.
I kind of felt like she was doing it because the guy, she's like, she knew exactly who he was talking about, and she's like, oh, let's not remind Will of his harassment.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I just thought she was just being funny. Oh my God, this scene is so flippin' comedic. And then we have a scene of the wheel going splash in a puddle, and I was like, oh my God, are they gonna spin tail? Are they gonna crash now? I was like terrified, but they don't crash. They just show up at the factory.
Missy, your anxiety in this chapter.
So many things can happen.
Okay, I'm reading right now like what I missed, and I realized I have this one theory. I think it's just like that's all like for now.
Okay.
Like for the first part that I missed, and it's that I was surprised that there wasn't more tension put on the fact that they didn't get the full address, because it feels like that problem was solved really quickly. And I was surprised by that because I thought they would have to spend this episode figuring out where Loon was instead of actually getting to the factory.
So that's why we were also wondering, like, does the fact that March have the address, did he actually get it from the transmission, or like does he know where they are? Is he sus or isn't he sus?
Last night I was thinking, what if March knows the address because he helped organize the nitroglycerin down there, and he is Phantom Scythe in that case. But the reason he's revealing this address to everyone else is because he thinks Lauren is Loon, and if he knows that Loon is down there and he doesn't want Lauren to die, then he's going to have to give up the address. Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, so he wants Lauren to be safe, but he also is Phantom Scythe, which is possible.
Yeah,
in terms of like
discuss that a little bit.
Plus, March has already lost a daughter in his life. I don't think he needs to lose another daughter figure.
Yep. Or maybe he's also like a double agent for the Phantom Scythe. Maybe he's working, with them and just kind of like getting information while only pretending to be on their side.
Is it bad that it doesn't matter to me and I love him either way?
No, double agent meaning like he's on the good side.
Yeah,
he's
but
just pretending.
if he's a double agent or if he's actually working for the Phantom Scythe, like either way, I love him.
Okay. Got it. Well, okay. Listen, I mean, once we can handle Kieran, we can handle anyone.
Right?
They don't all have to be dashing for us to forgive them.
Oh no, March is just pure, and up to this point, from what I know, and I love him for just supporting our girl.
He's like a golden retriever.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, well, we'll find out more, because I do think that it was kind of I think it was like emphasis placed on the whole March thing in the beginning. Like he's never been like the introduction of an episode. So anywho, either maybe we're reading too much into it. Who knows? We'll see. So anywho, we're back at the factory, and Lauren says it was Kym on the other end earlier. And if they come and don't know there's nitroglycerin here, it's going to be really bad, because nitroglycerin is very reactive. And like, as we see, Drunk Joe, he just dropped one bottle and he went up in flames. So if there's any mistake, like if somebody shoots and it lands on a bottle, like they're all dead.
Yeah.
So
moment of silence for Drunk Joe.
Yeah. He will always be remembered.
He was very, very well remembered.
The atmosphere does have me wondering, though, because it is raining, it's wet. Is nitroglycerin still able to catch fire?
Yes, that's one of the
Satisfactory.
things about it, that it's so dangerous. It's, I mean, even it's one of those things that, well, I know I live close to a lot of mountains, and it's what it was used to make a lot of the roads. They would like drill holes in the rocks and, you know, stick the explosives down in there. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why it was so effective.
Mm. Yeah, plus they're inside a building. The building is dry.
Yeah. Big boom boom.
Oh God. Stop. You have to stop making my heart pound. This is gonna be awful. Okay, let's forget. So Kieran's like, yeah, let's find a phone before this place turns into a firework. Sorry. Oh my God. I'm just thinking of the song, Baby You Firework. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Great time for some Katy Perry. Let's go.
Yeah, what if like that's the song that plays next chapter?
No,
Everything goes wrong.
No.
I think I'd get copyright, but that would be funny.
Oh gosh. So unfortunately, they are arrested by a flashlight. I could sing so many songs. I have this when I get in the mood. It's like, you know, a word triggers a song. So now I'm like,
Yeah.
my flashlight.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Anywho, Kieran's like, there's someone, and there's this guy, and he was the guy from before, right? He's one of the guys who was talking, and he's like, huh? Hacks open the door. There's again the very comedic moment of like, and then Lauren and Kieran go, and he grabs his gun. Lauren's like, shit, he can't shoot. It's the guy grabbing the gun, right? Yeah. The PS guy. And she grabs a chair and throws it at him, and he drops the gun, flies in the air. And many fans have noted that there is a lot of chairs, and this is finally the chair getting what it deserves, because there's apparently a chair blocking the view of something that Kieran is looking at in his room, and we're like, well, what's he looking at? Is the chair blocking it? So now the chair is getting its due.
It's not the chair that we want to get its due, though. So
yeah. It's a for harbor of the future. All chairs will be removed eventually.
Sorry, that was loud.
So he falls into the wall. Once again, he starts yelling, huh, but then Kieran shoves him and says, shut up. It's quite intense, and we have a nice view of him.
And there's that zoom in that made me nervous. I was just like, we're really studying Kieran's features in this panel. Is the guy noticing this?
Seriously, this is where we're going?
Yes.
Oh,
no,
wait.
she doesn't, not in a simping way, in a theory way.
Oh.
Yeah, this is like,
I was thinking more Lauren, because those pensive eyes seem to be unforgettable, right?
but like I don't remember as far as like in conjunction with one of the PS members in this chapter. The only one that gets a really good zoom in on his face, I think, is Kieran, and it very much worries me.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Kieran has some bright blue eyes. I'd be surprised, and people know what he looks like in the Phantom Scythe, so I don't know how he's going to get away with this. Lauren should have gotten them like those eye masks that the police use.
Masks. You know, they should learn from bank robbers.
I mean, more reason for Kieran to go underground with Lauren, I guess. So,
ooh, wait.
I'm still on that train.
That is simping level 1000. If they have to be on the run together.
On that, for you guys were all about like, you're gonna betray Lauren, and I was all like underground, lucky like the whole time.
They have to live together. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I am so down. No surprise there.
Whew. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Okay, I can't hope for that because I'll be disappointed. Anyway, Kieran spams the guy's head into the brick wall. Unsurprisingly, he is knocked unconscious, if not worse. And he thumps down. Lauren's like, you know, she's sweating, I think, because, you know, she obviously recognizes the guy has to be like eliminated in some fashion, but I think that she's recognizing that her situation comes with a lot of things that she's probably not comfortable with. You know, I don't think she would, right? I mean, that's what happened when she took this deal, right? Well, you know what? She probably didn't think it through. She probably was so hell-bent on getting her way that she was like, in the back of her mind, she probably knew that it would lead to compromising situations, but I doubt she allowed herself to think it through thoroughly because she didn't want to say no. Like, she wanted to do it so badly.
I don't like, I know this sounds a little, she hasn't, like Kieran has experienced the violence, the bloodlust, the actual physical violence of the Phantom Scythe. He's experienced that firsthand.
Mhm.
This is kind of Lauren's first actual personal, you know, taste with it, I guess. Like she's never experienced herself. She's seen obviously the train station tragedy, but she's never been in a situation to be on the receiving end personally, and now she is. And this is the first, if we're discounting the situation in the alley with Sake and Bella, this is like one of the first times that she's been on the receiving end of like some one-on-one.
Yeah, she had the time.
There was
on the
26 and 27. Yeah,
there was
with the goons, right? Blakesley's goons.
Right?
Yeah, but like as far as like what we've seen more detail of, I guess like that one was kind of quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was over the span of 2 episodes.
Like it wasn't a
or
lot
like the later half of one and the first half of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. She's not as experienced as him. Like he knows what he has to do and what the life is, and she is just stepping into it.
Honestly, what confuses me? Oh, sorry, you go. What? Sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done.
No, I'm just going to continue to the next panel.
Oh, okay. Something that confuses me is that Lauren confuses me, like where she stands on this, because one moment she's like, why don't you just kill them? Which is how she said that in season 1. But when put in practice, she's very hypocritical in that sense. Like on paper, she's like, yes, it makes sense to just kill them to, like, you know, get them out of the way. But then when it comes to like the actual murder, if murder is needed, she gets incredibly mad, as we found out in the last season. And so
I think it's that same detachment idea that she's not the one doing it physically. Actually, because so it's not. She's detached from it from a sense. She's used to the idea of Kieran killing, so that's nothing new. But the idea of her actually like being present or actually participating in such a thing, she's just like, she's never drawn a correlation between the two, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She is comfortable with the idea until she's involved.
Yeah, and
I think that also
dirty.
I think that also plays into the whole like the whole APD issue a bit. I don't want to get much in the APD because the episode wasn't about that, but she only does acknowledge it. Yeah, but if we talk in terms of like episode 68, Lauren knows that the APD is an oppressive force, but she doesn't really start to question it until Kieran pulls herself into the issue, where he talks directly to her and he's like, are you any better? Or something like that.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. And continue to talk. I'm going to get a phone charger. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big issues Lauren is coming to deal with throughout this whole story is, you know, morality and how, you know, she's been privileged enough to not have to deal with sticky issues. But when you're in a complicated situation, sometimes you don't really have a good choice. You have like a bad choice and a worse choice, and you have to figure out which one is which. So, you know, she's finally going into the world of the gray. So, anywho, the next part is hilarious because they start competing, and then that's the name of this episode is, you know, Cordial competition. So Kieran turns to her and he's like, "That's 2-0, Sinclair. Didn't think you'd be so out of shape." And she's, "Don't worry, I'll have no 4-eyed archivist outscoring me." So like, did you just call him a 4-eyed archivist? First of all, what is wrong with that? I'm wearing glasses right now, but like, what's wrong with being 4-eyed? And what's wrong with being an archivist? But I guess you're implying that, you know, an archivist wouldn't be physically, you know, powerful necessarily. Anywho, so that's the start of that. And they hear more footsteps and they're like delightful. Kieran's like, seems like we've made a great deal of noise. There's more coming. And now we go back to the patrol car. It's still raining. He's speeding along, and Lukas opens the door and tells them, "You two are soaking wet. Change out of your coat. There's equipment in the trunk of the car. I was ordered to wait for you guys. The car will be parked in the alleyway on Mill Street. Find me there." And they're getting out. They're changing their coats. And as they close the trunk, the prisoner is like, "Please don't leave me alone with him." Lukas Randall is apparently very, very intimidating.
I know it's completely unrelated, kind of, but like as soon as you read what Randall was saying, like instead of, your clothes are soaking wet, change, I heard your clothes are soaking wet, take off your shirt, like Lauren did.
Oh, right. Yeah.
My brain is cool.
Oh boy. Poor guy. All he wanted to do was steal a lamp. And now he has to be stuck with Lukas Randall. Oh, he was going to be comedic relief. And yeah, and both of them, as Lukas speeds away, are like, poor guy. So now we're back in the factory, and we have these two women, PS guards, coming down the hallway with their flashlights. They're like, "Oh my God, we hear a lot of noise. What's going on?" Right? They're walking down the hallway. They flash their light into the room. They see nothing. They look at each other, but then they draw their guns, and they are simultaneously walking into the room. At which point, whack! The doors get slammed on their faces, and boom, they fall down. Doom. It's hilarious. It is so cute. I mean, it's hilarious. It's just adorable.
It's like, don't you love it when your ship are knocking out people together? Yeah, it's great.
Yes. And then the next panel is the best panel in like PH history. They low-five each other. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I was talking to some people last night about this moment, because I think you guys are gonna hate me for saying this,
Yeah,
but
I can already tell that tone in your voice is not simping. It is not a simping tone. I am very nervous.
I feel like we missed a chapter or two of bonding between them, where we saw Kieran be more hesitant and become more comfortable in calling her like pet names again, and just being sarcastic with her, because yeah, they were like kind of comfortable after 93. He still didn't tell her about what had happened with the messenger, and I don't think he was comfortable really like telling her until he was backed into the corner when she found out. And then the last time they saw each other before that was like at work, and then the time before that was 84 and 83, and they didn't spend too much time there together. So from basically going from the circus arc to this in terms of their relationship, really, and I guess 80 and 81, whatever happened there, it feels a bit out of place. It feels like from 81 to 96, we were missing a few chapters of bonding.
I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, my perspective on Kieran, as far as like how he's progressed again to going back with using the pet names and the banter and that kind of thing, Lauren has taken the lead on it. Like everything that she's done, he's only copied if she's taken the step first. Like she brought the nicknames back first, and only then did he start using nicknames again once she did again first. Like, I don't know, like if I'd have to go back and see how consistent that is, but like any step that they've taken to rebuilding that relationship, Kieran hasn't extended anything that Lauren hasn't done first. Like she made it very clear that, okay, I want you back in my life to a certain degree. So therefore he wasn't going to open up and tell her about his troubles and his pain, because he didn't feel like that was his place anymore. And now it's coming back to where it is kind of his place again, but Lauren had to be the one to take all those steps. So I get, as far as like, me personally, I would love to see more bonding, obviously. But I don't feel like it's too unexpected from Kieran, at least, just because he's just copying Lauren in a sense.
But I think he still should have been a bit more apprehensive, like just him as a character, because although, yes, we had 93, I think Kieran's still a bit awkward around Lauren, because although they are trying to move forward, Lauren's the one initiating it, right? As you said, he's more following her steps, and Lauren may be going at a pace that he's not comfortable with yet.
I actually see that contrary. I think that Kieran is somebody who starved for affection and connection.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, as soon as somebody throws him a bone, like he jumps on it like a dog who's like, needs that.
Like he wants it. We've seen it from the story that he does, especially in Lake Bluff, where I think it was very obvious that he was trying to protect her and that he cared about her. Like he legitimately cares about this girl, but so if she extends just a little bit of her hand, he's going to be there waiting for it. So, I mean, that's my take on it. But I understand wanting to see more bonding, to see them come to that point. But I think there's only so much time that the authors can do without dragging down the pacing of the story itself.
Mm-hmm. I think the pacing overall in PH is always outstanding. But I think their relationship has been a little rushed, at least in these last few episodes, because I saw them that they were going to be back as Loon, but it feels like they're trying to bring back the season 1 Loon dynamic with Lauren participating in it more. It feels like the season 1 Loon dynamic, but the thing is, we're not in season 1 anymore. We're in season 2, and they've been through more stuff together at this point.
So, but how do you think that would change their dynamic? If we were to read these chapters, expecting that dynamic, do you think it would be like silence? Do you think the banter would be different? Like, what were you expecting to see?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It gives me a feeling that like 81 and 93 didn't really happen, and that this is the point that they would have gone to if 43 had never existed. So they would have naturally progressed to this point anyways. And I feel like that even though they are healing from 43, it should still be acknowledged in their relationship that yes, that happened, but we are working past it. And that is the feeling I was getting from previous episodes. But at this point, it doesn't really feel as acknowledged as it was before. Because again, it feels like the season 1 Loon dynamic.
I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm definitely getting the same vibes as far as their banter and, how the scenes go and everything like that. It does feel a bit more like season 1. But me personally, I don't see that as a bad thing. I still think there's a lot of hesitance there, that just because we know of the characters and how they act under pressure, they make jokes, they do sarcastic stuff. I mean, that seems to be their knee-jerk reaction under pressure too. Mm-hmm. But I get what you're saying, though. I definitely do. As far as, because it was obviously such a major thing. I mean, I think always more time would be better to see. But then again, once again, the pacing of the story, and I don't know what they've got plans or for the characters. So I can see them wanting to move them on track with a good relationship like before, as quick as possible, while still being sensitive to the events that already happened.
Yeah, they're almost done with the first half of season 2, and there's clearly a lot they have to get through. So it's understandable why there is no episode like that. And honestly, the story works fine without it. It was honestly just a nitpick. But
yeah, I mean, I get, reading things and then feeling a vibe and feeling like it's off. Yeah, I totally get that.
Okay, this is going to sound like really weird, but it feels like episode 93 was parallel to them first when they met for the first time, and then these episodes are like their first Loon mission. There were a few episodes where they got to know each other more again, or where they got for the first time actually in 10, 11, and 12, and it feels like we're missing the equivalent of those episodes.
Okay.
Compare 93.
Makes sense. It probably doesn't.
They're starting over, but they're not starting over,
Yeah. But like, I think there was a period where they needed to just, kind of not be on a Loon mission and not be trying to heal a ton of trauma. Like they just needed a moment like right before this.
I think that sometimes we can maybe assume things are happening behind the scenes, because we do know that there's been a few days. So we kind of can assume they've at least been communicating to prepare for this, right? So like maybe they, you know, we're supposed to assume that they've been talking and, you know, getting partnery during that time.
Yeah. And to this extent too, as far as like, I feel like 93 was like, okay, let's start over. You're my partner again. Let's go from there. But they already did know each other. And there's things that they know about each other that, you know, they've been through a lot, but with each other at this point. So there is
of course,
already, you know, based there. And the comfort level, I think once they've got that trust started rebuilding, that I think it was pretty easy for them to go back because, you know, they're totally meant for each other and they're soulmates. No.
Yeah, I think just in general, it is like, even though, like you guys said, it is kind of obvious and we should make the assumption that they did spend time together in those days between 93 and whatever is going on in this arc. But I think just reading it, like if you take a step back and reading it, it is a bit jarring to go from them being very intimate, not in a romantic way, but more of a platonic way, like them going very intimate and them trying to heal from like one of the most traumatic things in the series so far, to Kieran calling her love. And even if Lauren is initiating it now, it just, on Kieran's end at least, it feels a little weird for me personally.
Okay. Both of them aren't ready to talk about it directly yet because it's a big deal, and I think that it would be too vulnerable and too deep and too personal to talk about yet. I don't think they're ready to do that. So I think they're you know, it's in the back of their minds probably whenever they see each other, and we know that Kieran thinks badly of himself and Lauren thinks of it. Like they both think about it, but I don't think they're ready to discuss it with each other yet. I think that would require a lot more honesty between them, that and the level of vulnerability that they're not ready to go to yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. And the apology that needed to happen happened quite quickly in that closet too. Like the first thing that needed to be said was not you know, Kieran's kind of apology in that closet, his sincere promise to not hurt her friends and that nothing would happen to them by him. Like that was the biggest thing that was gnawing, and they've already taken care of that. And of course, I do think they need to discuss it again, but the most pressing matter, I think, is you know, him acknowledging it and talking to her has already happened. So
yeah, this is weird, but since it already happened, but I also kind of hope that he does apologize again for it if they get that scene where they like sit down and actually talk about it, probably in the future. But I hope he apologizes again, because while it was great that he did apologize in 57, I feel like Lauren, although she was paying attention to him, I don't think she was really ready to open up either about what happened. So I think it'd be nice to see them discuss it and for him to apologize at a point where they're both open to discussing it.
Yeah. And a point where he can see that she accepts it too, because at that point she wasn't accepting anything from him.
So I'm gonna interrupt this mood to go back to the simping mood, because our next panel is crazy, because they are both holding the bodies of these slumped guards, and Kieran says that still only counts as one love, 3-1. Lauren says we're only getting started. He called her love. Okay, if this is not a plank.
And she doesn't say anything. Like she doesn't react. She's just like, yep, let's go with it.
I'm enamored. Just these two panels. Oh, like I can forgive Soap and F for all the anxiety they're gonna cause us over the next week, and like the blood pressure medication I'm gonna have to take because of these two panels. Oh goodness.
You're just gonna go back, you've got your screenshots, you're just gonna keep looking at it until it's all happy again.
No, I actually don't do that. I don't gaze at screenshots. I think because I'm a very visual person and I have a very good imagination, I can just see it in my head. Plus I don't have time like to sit there and look at my screen. But yeah, I can definitely recall it quite easily in my head. So yeah. Oh my God. By the way, I totally think that this does indicate like what I mentioned before, how Kieran's like a puppy dog and he just wants to be loved. I think that this is his way of kind of like letting it out. He can't hide it. Like, I don't know if he recognizes he loves her, or that he has feelings for her, but I think that it's kind of unconsciously coming out because he's so lonely and he's so desperate for like connection. And she's the only person in his life that, as far as we know, at least, that really has that connection with him. We don't know of any other friends that he has. So I think that it's just his desperate yearning to connect with somebody else that makes him say that.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I should say this because I'm in a Zoom call with two very big Loki shippers, but is that healthy, do you think? Kieran getting a lot of his like relationship needs, not like romantic, but just in general, like from one person. It's not really fair to Lauren.
Of course not. He needs, human beings need family, friends, they need a bunch of things. There's this, Esther Perel, she's like a psychologist and she talks about relationships a lot. So she has this concept where she says that people used to understand that you would get different needs from different people. Like you would get support from your family with your kids. You would get, for big life events, you would get support from your community. For intellectual stuff, you would go to teachers. For, fun, you would go to your friends. For shared hobbies, you would go to people who have those hobbies. For, physical affection, you go to your spouse. But now people expect it all from one person. They expect that one person to solve all their needs and be their everything. And it's unrealistic. So of course, like, no way, Kieran needs a full social life with all like the psychological and emotional components. But right now he only has Lauren. So I don't think he's not putting demands on her. But of course, like in order at some point, I mean, if I don't know how the story is going to pan out, but like if the story ends with Kieran having a normal life, he's going to need a full array of human, needs.
Yeah, just I guess
healthy
because of
it's not, but it's his reality.
I guess because of the end of the episode, Kieran will be able to be more open with two more people at least. But for now, I just hope that he isn't being super dependent on Lauren.
I think he is, and I don't think that's a good thing or even a bad thing. I think at this point, it's all he's got. So I'm glad he has at least that. But I mean, I don't think it's healthy for either one of them. But like I said, it's the reality of a situation.
I don't think he's displaying any neediness. Like he isn't doing anything out of the ordinary yet, but for sure, if he doesn't at some point get more, I mean, he survived on his own all this time, right? And but this is the first person he's letting in his walls, like that he's trusting. So I think that like he's still being very cautious, even with her. Like he hasn't opened up to her. She's opened up to him. He really hasn't opened up to her. So he's still very, very cautious. But we hope that as he learns to trust more people, and let's totally talk about that when we get to it, because I have my own thoughts on that when we get to the end. Let's hope that he can build healthy relationships with a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, but Mindy, didn't you just call Kieran a puppy dog?
Yeah, I mean, we all call him. We call him baby Kieran. We call him it's our baby assassin puppy dog. That's just how it is.
Local disappointment. Football like a punt into the sky. Nicknames. Anyways.
At this point, I'm still very focused on love.
Yeah. No, it's
but
amazing.
Love, we called her love.
Oh, that's also what I want to ask. Do you think Kieran has romantic feelings that he hasn't recognized? Because that's what you guys were. It kind of seemed what you guys were saying earlier.
I think so. I do think he does. Here's some other evidence that I have for it. I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence of physical attraction for her, but the physical attraction to me, I don't know if he at least, and maybe other people can, but I think when he is physically attracted to someone, it also comes with personal attraction. So like the times when he admires her, when she's wearing the dress in episode 20, when they go dancing, when she's all dressed up, and then when she's in his house and he sees her in the shirt. I don't think that was just physical attraction. I think that was like, wow, that's an intimate moment. She's in my shirt. She's in my house. She's been sleeping. Like, what kind of, this is a personal situation. So I do think that things like that. There was another moment when he gave her that look, but yeah, I do think that he has feelings that he probably doesn't think about because it's so out of the realm of his reality. I think he probably thought he was going to have to live his life alone and die alone. And he probably is on a suicide mission with this thing. He probably figured, I'm going to die really young, an early violent death trying to take down the leader. So I don't think he recognizes it consciously, but I do think that it's trying to come out without him even being able to control it.
Yeah, I think back to that night where she's like sleeping in his room and he's cleaning the floor and he's like, why did I bring her here? I've never brought anyone here. And then we can see his drawing room and he sees the portraits that he's drawn of her. Like, I think part of him he wants to, but at the same time he doesn't believe that he deserves it because of that self-guilt thing. So I think it's definitely there, but he's kind of pushing it away just because, like I said, he doesn't think he deserves it, which is super sad.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want to or would like to believe that Kieran does have romantic feelings, I think it's a little early, honestly, because for Kieran at least, and Lauren, I mean, we're only 100 episodes in less, and this is PH. Stuff is going to get dragged out. Because I think what's important now is not that they're developing romantic feelings, but that they're evolving into friends, and I don't want their friendship to be cut short by a romantic relationship right now when they've just barely gone over the hurdles of their relationship. So I don't think romance should really be an important part of their relationship right now because they're still trying to figure out how to be friends.
I get that,
Will
but
be
it's
for a
not
while.
stop you from freaking out if he calls her love and they touch hands and like every little sliver of a board that I can use to build a ship is there. Like, I understand if the characters aren't there for it, but I'm there for it.
A plank of
I
drift.
don't think Soph and F will rush them into
driftwood.
love. I think it'll be a very slow development. I definitely think the friendship part will be there first. I'm not worried about them. They're not simps like us.
Yeah, but
I think-
nothing builds, strong ties than shared trauma. That's
life and death situations.
Yep.
Yeah,
some emotional ties right there, romantic or not. That builds some connections right there, just because they were there for it with you. So,
I just think, I think both of them right now are both platonically, like they both like each other platonically. I can't really see Kieran falling for her romantically yet because I think he's just mostly afraid of what happened again, like, with 43. And then also, what was I gonna say? I just don't think it's really on their minds right now. So I guess Kieran wouldn't recognize it if it wasn't on their minds, but I think also that Kieran isn't really the type of person to romantically fall for someone like that early on. And yes, he did have the pet names, but they were more of like to tease Lauren. And I think the love is just the new incarnation of darling.
I actually think Kieran is the kind of person to fall in love fast. I don't think he's falling in love now. I think he doesn't recognize it for sure. But I think that if Kieran hadn't been raised in an assassin and had this whole traumatic youth, I think he would be very affectionate, very fast, passionate, fall in love fast. I totally think that's his inherent personality.
Yeah, and there's always, like I said, that conscious versus subconscious thing. Consciously, he might be one thing. Subconsciously, something else growing there. And I think subconsciously, personally, I think it's entirely romantically affectionate from that perspective. Whereas consciously, he's looking for more of, I just want her to not hate me point.
Yeah. This is ironic because to me, like in my own interpretation, I can see Kieran valuing his friendships more than a romantic relationship because I guess it's also partly because of who he is, because of his trauma. But like even without the phantom side, I think he would be more focused on making friends with people and like being close with his friends. Like you said, Mindy, he's an affectionate person. Being close with his, for that, he would be again a bit more apprehensive and wait till he got to know someone really well before he realized he would have fallen at that point.
So I think that for both of us, I recognize it for myself, and you tell me if you think it's working for you. But I think that maybe our personalities are coloring our interpretation, because I know both my husband and I fell in love in literally a week. Like I met him on a Sunday, Saturday we were getting married. Blind date, never saw him before in my life. So we were both very fast, fall in love. You're my one and only, like in a second. So I think that that's coloring my interpretation of
Yeah,
Kieran.
I would agree.
You're
'cause
probably
for me,
much
I
more
think-
of a, it sounds like, you know, friendship person than heavy, you know, rushing into love person. So
yeah.
I'm right there with you, Mindy. I think it's probably coloring mine too, because like
Yeah.
my husband was my first crush. So
Yeah, I think I would rather just like, you know, go out and experiment, see like what is out there instead of going directly into something because you never really know.
yeah. But sometimes
What
you
might
don't
happen.
know until you meet that right person either. Like I didn't know
That
that
is
was
true. It seems
so.
like, yeah, you guys like your relationships are great, it seems. So
I mean,
it could really go either way.
great. I have lots of words to tell you. We can talk about this in private. Great includes lots of ups and downs. But yeah, I mean,
But you
there
are
were
ultimately happy, right? With your
ultimately,
relationship.
yeah. But I mean, there were some years where it was terrible. You know, we both went through a lot of things in our life, and you know, it was very difficult during those years, but we made it through, and now we're good again. But you know, just anyway, but that's like a whole soliloquy on marriage, which is a little bit outside the purview of this podcast. So let's go back to the scene. This is a great discussion, but I could totally talk about relationships because I love it. It's one of my favorite topics, but I could totally tell you my whole private life story. I have no sense of privacy. So any juicy details I will relate. So anywho, they're dragging them and Lauren's like, well, we're only getting started. So she has this competitive spirit and I don't know what they did with these two ladies, but they're gone. They
shoved them in the hole. They just threw them under the trap door.
Pile of bodies. Lock them in. Oh gosh. I mean, at some point they're gonna wake up, so we'll see if we see these characters again. So they run into the hallway, and now we're back to we have more rain. There's thunder. There's lightning. It's like the storm is picking up, and suddenly we see the factory floor and clang. The lights go out. Of course, drama.
Of course, everything had to go wrong in one instant.
Okay, both of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you go? Like the heart drop feeling into the stomach? Scale of 1 to 10?
I don't remember. The whole episode was like heart pounding for me. I don't. It just kept getting like worse progressively. I don't remember this particular moment.
I think it's not that my heart dropped, it's just that my mind went, we should have seen this coming. And
of course,
it's like my mind just went, they had it coming. Yeah. They only had themselves to blame. That and the lightning.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But they only had themselves to blame with the next part, at least.
This thing, like I'm usually like what the kind of stories I'm attracted to have always been focused on the internal, like about psychology and relationships, and that's what I tend to read and watch. But I have to admit, like this whole episode is just thrilling, and it's gonna get even more thrilling if Soap's Instagram story is any indication, which it is, and I'm totally anxious. Okay, well, let's discuss that afterwards. So lights are out. They stop in the hallway, and they're like, the power, duh. And Lauren's like shivering a little. She's like, I can hardly see anything. And they hear tap taps down the hallway, completely dark. They can barely see. And Lauren says, there are more guards coming. Kieran says, I think that's 2.
Oh, God.
More tap taps. Okay, I'm just gonna finish reading through the whole thing so we can get through it. There's tap tap. Lauren sweating. Kieran sweating. They're both looking nervous. And there's more tap taps coming down the hallway again. And then there's a whoosh. Somebody's sticking a gun out of that hallway. Lauren's horrified. She grabs the gun, pushes it up, and then pushes it down. Like the gun falls on the floor. She pushes the person against the wall. The person is wearing an APD uniform. The person has the silhouette of a woman. And she puts her hand back to punch this person. There's a whoosh. Suddenly, the red light, emergency light goes on. Her fist is about to punch that person's neck. Lauren, you see Lauren's face? Her golden pensive eyes are wide open because she is about to punch Kym in the face. And the last panel, we have Kym just looking in complete shock, and then the two of them are staring at each other, and she's about to punch her. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whew.
You good, Mindy? You good?
No, I am not. I am not. And I'm not. And we have a whole week. Okay? We have a whole week. Oh my God.
Okay.
How did you guys react after this?
One down.
One down. Oh my Lord. No, I can't. I really can't.
Is it bad that my mind's like, wait a minute, what is the electrical system in this town that, you know, what they've got emergency lighting and it's red? That's, well, what? Like, that's where my mind went. Like, what's the modern, you know,
Is that what you think about at a time like this?
I'm married to an electrician. Yes, that's where my mind goes.
That's true. You are married to an electrician. Fine.
Probably my favorite thing that I've seen regarding that scene is it was from Viv on the PH Discord, and he said that the red lighting indicates how Lauren lied to Kym.
Oh my God. I know, I actually wrote that down. I did write some stuff down, and that was one of the things I wrote. Oh my God, that is like impactful. Okay, so let's discuss. This is crazy because it just shows like she, first of all, shows the lengths that Lauren is willing to go, right? And then Kym, not only has she recently discovered or guessed that Lauren is Loon, now she's faced with, like, she comes to this factory, she doesn't know what's going on, she just knows Loon's there, she's like, maybe it will be Lauren, probably she doesn't know for sure, and suddenly she's about to be punched in the face by Lauren. I mean, this is like massive best friend shock. I don't know about betrayal. I do think Kym, how do you think Kym is going to react? I think Kym is capable of holding complex thoughts in her brain. I think I don't know if they'll have a heart to heart right now because like there's like a lot of stuff they have to do, but I think Kym can handle it. Like I think Will not.
I was thinking.
I think Kym can handle it and then discuss afterwards when the time is right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I've been wanting to talk about this because all I see is people going, oh, Kym's going to be so upset. Kym's going to be so mad at Lauren. And I really, really can't see that.
Yeah, same. I'm with you there. I don't see Kym getting mad.
Yeah, I think Kym is the most empathetic person in the series. And that may seem a bit weird saying since Lauren and Kieran are right there, but I don't think Lauren's super empathetic. And I guess Kieran's very empathetic because of his experiences, but I think Kym is on just another level that we've only really brushed the surface of, like in episode 77. I think Kym should understand why Lauren had to keep it a secret, especially since Kym is the reason Lauren had to keep it a secret. People were trying to figure out who Loon was, and their identities would have been compromised if Kym was successful. So I don't think Kym, on a professional level at least, has any right to be mad at Lauren because Kym was literally supposed to find out the identities of Loon and tell Herman. And so Kym should understand why Lauren would not want that.
Yeah.
And then on a friend base level, I guess Kym would be a little bit upset that Lauren didn't tell her because they are supposed to be friends. But again, Kym is also smart enough to recognize that if anyone knew about what Lauren was doing, then it could compromise the whole mission. So the secrecy of Loon was crucial for Loon to continue to operate in peace and with the privacy that they needed.
Yeah. And on the other hand of that, as far as Will's concerned, I do think he's going to feel betrayed, and I don't
totally
take it well. He is not going to react well. In fact, Kieran might have to, knock him out for a minute so that way, it can get him out of there quietly.
Ironically enough, I actually thought it would be Kym who would knock Will out because it's going to be heartbreaking, but I think Kym is going to panic when she gets it confirmed that Lauren is Loon. She's going to remember the conversation that she and Will had in 63, where Will said that he would turn Loon in. And I think she's going to panic and she's going to knock him unconscious.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I for
Yeah.
sure agree that Will is not capable of assimilating the gray, the moral gray. Will is black and white. Will is rigid. Will goes by the rules. I don't think Will can handle it at all.
But on the bright side, he and Kieran have had bonding. They did karaoke together, so there is hope.
I don't think they had bonding. I don't think at all. I think that
it was kind of superficial, right? They were just doing it at work.
I'm just making jokes.
And they were forced to do it because of Kym and Lauren.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't think that they've developed any relationship.
No.
I think it was kind of funny today. People were like, "What do you think Kieran and Will are doing?" And I remember one person, Phyllis, she said, Kieran is yeeting Will, and I was like, they're making out. Just to throw it in there.
Yeah, presumably Will is just walking a little slower than Kym.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, how anxious are we on a scale of 1 to 10 for next week? Next week on the graph is supposed to be a little bit less anxiety inducing. I don't know how.
I've numbed myself to it.
I just ordered a bunch of actually new books, so I will be reading and forgetting about which day of the week it is. So
I can't do that. Whew. I wish I could read, but I could read only on Saturdays. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am like highly stressed. What?
Or working. I'll just work until next Monday.
Yeah. Oh man.
Also, I want to just go back to the episode for a minute, because I'm just looking at these panels, and the art in this episode is consistently good. From the rain scenes, the water there, and then the line art was amazing, and in the factory, and then the red and the action in this episode, the way it's framed, especially, and I that panel of Lauren about to punch Kym, it's beautifully composed. The entire almost fight scene between them is gorgeous, and just the lighting on it, top tier quality. Beautiful.
And the music.
Yeah.
We never discussed the music.
Oh my
but
god. Music.
Hello, heart pounding.
Music actually played for me for once. It was playing, because usually it doesn't play for me, but for once, and I was so happy.
It's amazing.
I couldn't play the music, so I couldn't play the music. When I read the chapter, my husband watching a finale of a show been watching. I tuned out of a TV show finale. I completely missed a quarter of that episode to read the chapter of Purple Hyacinth, and but I had to mute it. Otherwise, he'd know I wasn't watching. So,
wow, that's a level. I'm surprised he didn't see you on your phone.
Well, I was kind of curled up in blankets with that kind of cuddled back, kind of lean back kind of thing. So I mean, he focused on whatever was going on with the show, and I was just like,
wow, hilarious. Yeah, it's funny because it used to be I would watch movies to relax, and now I don't watch movies anymore. I just read webtoons.
But
yeah, this felt like a movie.
So down for next week. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. So
woo!
Yeah. And then Wednesday is almost Thursday, which is almost Friday, which is yeah, you get the point.
It's kind of how weeks work, Mindy.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go grade. I have to go grade, it's more accurate. So what do we want to say about the ending? How do we want to end the episode off? Any final thoughts?
I don't think Kym's gonna be bad. I think
favorite panel, because I have a favorite panel. Y'all want to do that?
Probably Kym's face.
Okay.
At the very end, that panel of Kym. Then there's the panel of Lauren, but I think it's way more impactful for Kym, this scene. So definitely that panel of Kym. It's beautiful. It captures everything just amazingly, and I love it so much.
My favorite panel is definitely the telephone box with Kym kind of snuggled in the back there. And
that was good. That was good.
I love that panel.
And also them like smushed in the back of the police car.
My favorite panel is definitely the low five, for sure. I love it.
I would pick the low five, but I feel like that would be too predictable for me. So
I don't mind being predictable.
I also like the panel where Lauren is about to punch him because the action in that panel, magnificent.
Yep. All right, ladies, we will see each other next week and we will see what happens.
Thank you for having us.
Bye. Good day.
Bye.
Next week.
Good night.
Night.